This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, one dime at a time. And that means you. Welcome to the Millionaires Roundtable. I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And that means you. We're talking about the stair steps to wealth. That's right. Because if you keep climbing, you will eventually get there. Get where? To $1 million net worth. That's not something that's simply preserved for the rich and famous. As a matter of fact, most famous people aren't rich, and most rich people aren't famous. You see, millionaires are made not only one day at a time, but one business at a time, one strategy at a time, and one thought at a time. And that could definitely be you. So the third stair step that we're going to talk about, because we've already talked about step 1, live below your means. We've talked about step 2, eliminate your debt. And you can take these steps at the same time. You don't have to start one and then wait until you finish that one and then start the next one. You can work them together. So while you're living below your means, you can also pay off your debt. And now step 3 is start a home-based business. Why? Because one stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. Let's look at our history. Let's go all the way back to the Great Depression of the 1900s. Let's now fast forward to the Great Recession of 2008. And then let's tiptoe into the pandemic of 2020. What a disruption. What we've learned through all of these economic downturns is one stream of income will certainly put you in the poorhouse if that's all you have to depend on. So what do we do about it? Well, what do the wealthy do? The wealthy understand this one basic premise. Businesses are the engine of the economy. A car without an engine cannot drive, and an economy without businesses cannot thrive. So the government rewards businesses. And it doesn't matter what kind of business it is. It could be the big department store on the highway. It could be the small business at the end of the block in your neighborhood, but it can also be your home-based business. You see, businesses all fall in the same category when it comes to these IRS privileges, I call them. These privileges are tax deductions. And when you have a home-based business, you are eligible for hundreds and hundreds of tax deductions that people who don't have a home-based business simply do not have access to. Let me give you a few examples. If you drive your car as the person that you are, you just drove your car. But if you drive your car for business, you get to write off either the mileage that's associated with it, and the IRS establishes what the mileage percentage is every single year, or you get to write off the expenses associated with that vehicle. You get to write off the interest that you pay. You get to write off that lease payment. You get to write off the gas. What about repairs? What about registration and taxes? All of those things become write-offs when you run your business like a business with the intent of making a profit. So this is not for your hobby. This is not for your nonprofit. I'm talking about when you are running a business like a business with the intent of making a profit, you have access to over 400 tax deductions. Let's talk about kids. You see, my grandmother raised me. I was born and raised in Chicago. She was 75 years old, cleaning homes for wealthy people, putting me through college. When I got to college, I had no sense. I got a bunch of credit cards, couldn't pay anybody. And my grandmother was working very hard. She had an 8th grade education. Now, my grandmother had 17 brothers and sisters. She was the oldest girl. She was the second born child, which meant she ran everything. She actually was her mother's midwife for many of the children that were born. So my grandmother had to cook, she had to clean, she had to go to school, and she had to feed 17 people every day. Now I have 3 children. And I can tell you right now, if I had 17 kids, everybody wouldn't eat every day. I'd have a Monday, Wednesday group and a Tuesday, Thursday group. And on your day off, you'd have to fast, pray, or steal. I don't know what to tell you. But here's the deal. Children are expensive. That's my point. They want to eat every day, several times a day. They need school clothes, school supplies. They need, the new video game that came out, not to mention birthdays and Christmas and all these things. But here's what the IRS says you can do when you have a home-based business. The IRS says you can hire your children to work in your home-based business. You can pay each child up to $12,400 a year. That money that you pay your child is now a deduction to you. It's a deduction on Schedule C of your 1040 tax return in your sole proprietorship home-based business. And the money that you pay to the child is tax-free. So let's just stop there. It's a tax deduction to you, which means now that you put the money out, you get it back in the form of a tax deduction, which is going to decrease your adjusted gross income, which will then significantly decrease the amount of taxes that you owe, or it will increase your refund if you're expecting a refund. And now the money that the kid makes up to the first $12,400 is tax-free. Everybody needs to sign up their children. Now here's the deal. A child can work in a parent's home-based business for any time of the day for any number of hours. So let me repeat. A child can work in a parent's home-based business any time of the day and for any number of hours, as long as it's not agricultural work, manufacturing work, or any kind of dangerous work. Now, who says that? The Department of Labor. Check them out. The Small Business Association, the SBA, has an article that says 5 reasons to hire your child. Now, the SBA gives out small business grants, business relief in certain times of emergency, like the economic injury, disaster loan, and many other types of programs like the Paycheck Protection Program. The SBA thought it was so important that you hire your kids that they created an article that tells you 5 reasons. And one of them simply is it's tax-free income. So don't believe the hype. When people tell you, no, you can't do it, yes, you can. Go and get the facts for yourself. Having a home-based business not only protects you against the unstable economy, economic factors, and pandemics that you cannot control, but it also puts more money back in your pocket. It's called income shifting. When you pay your child's tuition, you don't get that money back. If you buy your child a video game, you don't get that money back. If you buy birthday presents and Christmas presents, you don't get that money back. But if you take those same dollars, hire your child in your business that you are running like a business with the intent of making a profit, and you pay that child a salary, so you rename those dollars from gift and tuition and whatever else you're doing, and you now call it a salary, it is now a legal and ethical tax deduction, and you're going to do the same things anyway. So now the child takes their money and they pay their own tuition. They buy their own video games. They pay for their own ballet classes and karate lessons and piano lessons and even their own braces. My youngest daughter is in college. She's been working for me since she was 6. Yep. I learned everything I learned from Sandy Bakken. He was an IRS tax attorney, and he used to train the IRS agents to go out and get people. And now all he does is train self-employed business owners like you and I how to legally, ethically, and morally reduce our taxes to the legal limit. How are you going to do that? Learn the rules of the game and then play the game by the rules. So when I first heard Sandy Bakken, an IRS tax attorney and CPA, explain the tax code, let me tell you, I flew. I hired all the children. Now here's the deal. They had been working for me anyway. I just did not know that I could actually document that I was paying them and reduce my taxes. They were already working for me. They were helping me sell books at my events, and they were putting the kits together the night before I had a presentation. They had been working for me for the longest. You see, knowledge is power when it's put into action. Let me repeat. Knowledge is power when it's put into action. So when I got the knowledge, I took action and then I had power, and you can too. So stair step number 3 is definitely to start a home-based business. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I am Lynn Richardson. We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. We'll be right back.
Meet Lynn Richardson, celebrity financial expert. You might have seen Lynn on The Steve Harvey Show or Good Morning America giving financial advice. For more than 2 decades of having leading roles in the banking and real estate sales industries, Lynn has helped so many clients face their money issues head on and help them achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals.
I spend my life helping people understand this. More money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt.
Lynn is committed to using her financial expertise to benefit others. Over the last 20 years, she's created a curriculum of books and online classes that can help you at any level. She's helped thousands of clients get out of credit card debt. Lynn has also helped clients create home-based businesses and create multiple streams of income. Creating your financial dreams takes finding your purpose, then the money and the income streams will follow. For more information about Lynn Richardson and the curriculum that she has created, please visit lynnrichardson.com, where financial dreams meet focus to generate wealth.
This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And that means you. And guess what? We're on stair step number 3. Now, you don't have to take these steps one step at a time. You can if you want to. Stair step number 1 was to live below your means. Stair step number 2 is to eliminate your debt. Stair step number 3, which is critically important, is to start a home-based business. Why? Because one stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. You can do all of these 3 steps at the same time. As a matter of fact, you might need the home-based business to help you eliminate your debt and to help you live below your means, right? Because if you don't have enough money, here's the truth. 1 + 1 = 2. If your stuff adds up to 10, it's never going to get into 2. So not only will the home-based business give you the additional income that you need, but the home-based business allows you to do one of the single most important things that you could do with your finances, and that is get your money back. So how are you going to get to the next level financially? 1, you must spend less money. 2, you must get more money. But the third thing that you have to do is get your money back. And that's what the wealthy people understand. You see, Warren Buffett infamously has a lower tax rate than his secretary, who probably only makes 1,000th of 1% that he makes. And that's because he understands the tax code, or I should say the people who work for him understand the tax code. So that's your job. When you have a home-based business, you get access to hundreds of tax deductions that you otherwise do not have access to simply as an employee. So this topic always brings up lots of questions. Let's see what callers we have out there with questions.
Hi, I'm Kim, and I have a question for Dr. Lynn. I know you speak a lot about hiring your kids to work in your home-based business, so I was wondering, how exactly do I do that?
Okay, this question comes up a lot. All right, so here's the deal. You're actually going to hire your child. You're going to pay them a salary, and you're going to write that salary off on your tax return, Schedule C of your 1040 tax return. You're going to hire them in your home-based business or your single member LLC. This doesn't work in your corporation. This doesn't work in your restaurant. This doesn't work in your hair salon that has a separate entity. This works in your home-based business that you are operating as a sole proprietor and or a single member LLC. Why? Because when a child works for a parent in a home-based business, then labor laws essentially are no longer in effect. If your child works in your restaurant, or if your child works in your business, your corporation, then they're subject to labor laws, okay? And minimally, your child has to be 14 years of age. Permits are required. But when your child works for you in your home-based business, then you don't have to worry about the number of hours, nor do you have to worry about the time of day. So you're going to hire them, pay them a salary in your home-based business that you file as a sole proprietor, where you claim the expenses and the income on Schedule C of your 1040 tax return. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. And guess what? We're creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. We'll be right back.
Check out Tax Talk Thursday with Lynn Richardson as she and her special guests give tools and tips to help us better understand the state and federal tax system.
Just give us something that we can use to get those who have never understood the tax system and how it works.
We have two tax systems in this country. And when I say that, I always have people say, oh, sure, one for rich and one for poor. That is not true. That's a myth. There's one to make you rich and there's one to take your wealth, basically.
Learn how to get greater tax returns or learn how your business write-offs can lower your taxes.
It's more about how much money you keep than it is about how much money you earn, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather earn $2 million and end up with $1 million, or would you rather earn $1.25 million and keep it all?
We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And that means you.
Tune in to Tax Talk Thursday on LynnRichardson.tv.
Share and subscribe.
Meet Lynn Richardson, celebrity financial expert. You might have seen Lynn on Good Morning America giving financial advice. For more than 2 decades of having leading roles in the banking and real estate sales industries, Lynn has helped clients face their money issues and achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals. Lynn is committed to using her financial expertise to benefit others. She's helped thousands of clients get out of debt, start home-based businesses, and create multiple streams of income. To learn more, please visit LynnRichardson.com, where financial dreams meet focus to generate wealth.
Hey, this is the Millionaires Roundtable, and I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time, and that means you. We are talking about stair step number 3, start a home-based business. Everybody needs a home-based business. Everybody needs a home-based business. A home-based business is not optional. If you don't have a home-based business, you are leaving money on the table. One stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. And I would also say one stream of income is hazardous to your health, your mental health, your emotional health. Do you know what it's like when you don't have enough money to pay your bills? Of course you do. I've been there, done that. Now, of course, you can find peace in the midst of a storm. When I lost everything, that's when I learned everything. When I lost everything, that's when I learned everything. I learned that more money doesn't solve a money problem, because if it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt. I learned how to get by on less than what I was spending. I learned how to budget. I learned how to save. And quite frankly, I learned some wisdom. But the goal is to get where you're trying to go financially, not just for yourself, but so you can take care of your family, so you can give, and so you can be taken care of when it's no longer time for you to work. Because while you're working, you need a paycheck. But when you stop working, you actually need a paycheck. And having a home-based business is going to help you get there. So now that you have this home-based business, what are you going to do in terms of your tax deductions? Well, you have to document every single expense. Some say this is hard work, but so is being broke. Which hard work are you going to do? Okay? It's a tough job robbing Peter to pay Paul. As a matter of fact, you could be the CEO of a Fortune 100 company with all of the energy that it takes managing being broke. I remember in my early days of being married, my husband and I, we'd go out to eat with another couple, or we'd go out, and sometimes we didn't really have the money. So I'm looking in the account trying to figure out which card am I going to use to pay. Like, let me tell you something. It's hard work. It's hard work trying to pretend, and it's hard work trying to keep up. And the one thing that I learned along this path is wealthy people don't really look like it. You see, rich people stay rich because they act poor, and poor people stay poor because they act rich. And poor people stay poor acting rich in front of other poor people, which is real crazy, right? So having a home-based business gives you a little bit of power. And I know we've got lots of callers out there, so let's see what we got.
Hello, my name is Lisa. I have my own home-based business, and I wanted to know, how do I go about paying my children? What would be the correct amount? How do I do my taxes with this?
Excellent question. Okay, so when you hire your children, the first thing I want you to understand about hiring your children, it's just like hiring anyone. It's like hiring a gardener. It's like hiring a babysitter. It's like hiring a receptionist. It's like when you were hired. You have to establish an agreement and actually pay the person. That's the gist of it. Now, I have a class called How to Hire Your Kids, and I go in great detail. But generally speaking, you hire them and you choose a salary that is in alignment with what other people would pay making the same job, okay? Let me say that again. You choose a salary that is in alignment with what other people would earn doing the same job. So you cannot pay your 5-year-old $20,000 to take out the garbage one day a week. Nobody makes that much money taking garbage out one day a week, especially a little bitty pail of garbage, okay? But you can pay your 5-year-old a good salary to model in your home-based business videos or to perform in your home-based business videos that you then promote on your YouTube channel or on your Instagram page or on your business Facebook page. Anytime your children are working in your business, they can be paid a similar salary to other people working in that same job. So how much does the diaper baby in the commercial make? How much money does the baby in the baby food commercial make? Then your child can make that same salary. Sandy Bakken, who I learned from, the IRS tax attorney, the former IRS tax attorney, he explains it this way. He hired his daughter to build his website. He went and compared what other people would make to build a website of the stature that he wanted. He paid his daughter $37,000 to build that website, however many months it took her to get it done. And she then took that $37,000 and paid her tuition for college. Extremely brilliant. Had he paid her tuition directly, not only would he not have gotten that money back, he still would have had to hire somebody else to build a website. So he killed two birds with one stone. And that's what I suggest you do as well. So hire your kids, give them a job title with responsibilities, Google it, research, go to some new hire or resume or job search websites and find out competitive salaries or competitive hourly wages and pay your child the same thing. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires, one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And I'll see you next time.
Now stay tuned for a sneak peek of Wealthy Wednesday on LynnRichardson.tv. People straight on that.
Let me tell you, so for those who don't know the 10, 10, 30, 50, first of all, you can get all the details in my book. Don't forget to subscribe and share, all that stuff. But in Living Check to Monday, I broke it down because I was making $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a month. I was still broke. And so I started actually following the rules, which are the truth. So the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save.
Yes.
The 30% is cash in your pocket. Cash for your incidentals. Like groceries, gas, hair, nails. If it doesn't fit, get rid of it. And then the remaining 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. If you have more than enough money, That's not a license to go buy a lot of stuff. You want to get rid of your debt. If you don't have enough money, then you have to subtract.
But I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And I think people can appreciate, especially, I've been with you many times when you've spoken live to, thousands of women. And when they hear that breakdown of 10, 10, 30, 50, and you go into each and why it's important, it feels like they just ready to get loose. It's like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been doing.
People are free. So if you don't put your appointments in your calendar, you'll be one place like, oh, I forgot about that. So we just call it a schedule. We keep it clean. We keep it easy. So I want everybody on this Wealthy Wednesday, Light said it, people hear it and they're like, oh my God, that's freedom. This is a freedom series. This is about you going to the next level. The 10, 10, 30, 50, the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save, 30% cash, and it's to help you avoid a spending addiction, which is what you have when you go to the grocery store for toothpaste and you walk out with $179.47 for the stuff you don't need. We're going to talk about that on another Wealthy Wednesday.
Share and subscribe.
Meet Lynn Richardson, author, entertainment executive, TV personality, and celebrity financial coach.
Please say hello to financial expert, my girl, Lynn Richardson. My buddy, finance expert, Lynn Richardson.
Hey, everybody.
Why do you need Lynn's help?
She uses her quick wit and humorous presentation style to help others face their issues and achieve their personal and professional goals, as well as spiritual harmony.
So I tell our sisters, you go to a rack, $500 purse. Self, do you usually have $500? $20 purse. Self, that's usually how much you got. That's the purse that you get off the rollback rack.
In this current economic crisis due to COVID-19, Sean Diddy Combs invited Lynn Richardson to contribute to his new website, OurFairShare.com, in which Lynn explains the Paycheck Protection Plan that assists small businesses in gaining access to U.S. government funds. Over the last 20 years, Lynn used her financial expertise to create a curriculum of books and online classes to help clients achieve financial freedom. Lynn teaches clients how to get out of credit card debt, shows them how to start a home-based business, and to create multiple streams of income. Lynn Richardson is a celebrity financial coach and founder of the 700 Credit Club. Lynn wants to talk to you about one of the biggest issues that can separate you from your financial freedom, and that's your credit score. Lynn overcame 2 bankruptcies and foreclosure, but with this plan, her score is now over 700, and she's inviting you to join the 700 Credit Club today. Here you'll learn to build your credit and have the financial freedom you dreamed of. For more information about the 700 Credit Club, please visit lynnrichardson.com.
Hi, I'm Lynn Richardson, and I'm excited about teaching you how to build multiple streams of income. But more importantly, I'm excited about teaching you why. I'm a financial expert, but I think there are some things you need to know about me that you'll never read in a newspaper or magazine or see anywhere. I was born and raised in Chicago. As a matter of fact, my grandmother, who passed away almost at the age of 98, she was 75 years old, cleaning homes for wealthy people, putting me through college. I grew up in the projects. I knew we weren't rich, but I didn't feel poor. When I needed money for something, I'd say, Grandma, I need money for a field trip. She'd tell me to go look in the room, on top of the shelf, inside the box, inside my pocketbook, inside the zipper, wrapped up in a piece of paper towel. It's $20. She'd hide the money like 20,000 times. So when I went off to college, I didn't know a lot about money. What I knew is I needed access to it. So I made the mistake that many people make. I went into a room, multiple credit card distributors were there. I didn't get one credit card. I decided to get one of each. Oh boy, that didn't go over well for me. When the creditor started calling and saying, Lynn, can you borrow the money? I said, can I borrow it from you? I had all kind of funny answers, but when I got out into the real world, it wasn't funny anymore. My credit was jacked up. My first furniture came from Rent-A-Center. And I knew right then and there that I was entering the world with a bad relationship with money. Fast forward a few years later, I'm married, 3 children. My career is excellent. I'm making money, but guess what? I was living a lie. I was living check to Monday. You see, check to check is a blessing. That means you get paid by Friday and by the next payday you're broke. But check to Monday is a whole different game. You get paid on Friday, you kick it on the weekend, you pay on your past due bills, and by Monday you're broke. And I was living that lifestyle making $20, $30, $50, $60, $80,000 a month. Not a year, a month. So I learned this.
More money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt. If more money could solve